Good evening and thanks for joining us. It's that time of year in the global oil and gas calendar when the Offshore Technology Conference OTC holds. There's more takeaways to come from that, which we started last week, plus updates from the stories and events which the program continues to track, and these are quite a lot, including the regular segments from the local to the global. They're all fresh and authentic. Thanks for joining us. My name is Akin Agbejule. This is Oil and Gas 4.
Under President Muhammadu Buhari, we've seen where there is fuel, you make a choice of where to buy fuel. You make shakara for them.
No panic to buy fuel for black market. NNPC go bring fuel for all motorists.
NNPC say them get fuel jabrata for ground. Saboteur. All of una wey dey tiff with fuel and petroleum station where they hunt, smuggle and divert our fuel go neighboring country. Plus people where they build small tank and sell fuel past our government price of 145 naira per liter. Stop am o. Because why? Now big offense now. Now jail straight away. NNPC say our government no increase fuel price. Now still 145 naira per liter. So therefore no buy black market, no do panic buying. Enough fuel there we go round. Nigerians, if you see any petrol station where they sell fuel past our government price of 145 naira per liter, kia report to the nearest security agency when near you or the Department of Petroleum Resources. Na Ndu Ohamado, Group General Manager, Group Public Affairs Division, NNPC, sign this message.
This is a man from the point of view of transparency. You can say you trust him, you believe in him.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation NNPC Group Managing Director, Dr. Mekenti Baru, has received commendations for leading an NNPC management team that places premium on transparency and accountability. The recognition came from the Chartered Institute of Forensic and Investigative Professionals of Nigeria when it conferred on the NNPC GMD an honorary fellowship award of the Institute in Abuja. The Institute's pro-term president, Dr. Victoria Enape, who administered the award, said, Dr. Barrow won the Institute's heart because he champions anti-corruption crusade in NNPC. Dr. Enape explained that her institute was pleased to associate with NNPC under Dr. Barrow's watch because such partnership offered opportunities to compare notes to ensure effective prevention of fraud, corruption and cybercrimes in NNPC and Nigeria as a whole.
It is a known history that since your assumption as GMD of NNPC, petroleum distribution in Nigeria has been free of corrupt practices and diversion. We equally learned that at GMD, you have upgraded the security system in both the towers and subsidiaries, which made you a champion of transparency, as mentioned by the former GMD in the television program recently aired.
Expressing his appreciation over the recognition by the Institute, the NNPC GMD declared that the corporation made a $1.6 billion savings from the arbitration between its flagship upstream subsidiary, the Nigerian Petroleum Development Company NPDC, and the Atlantic Energy Drilling Concept Nigeria Limited, affirming that NNPC succeeded in making a lot of savings from some companies that had litigations with her.
We've also been able to stem some of the high-profile court cases that we believe had been set up fraudulently to defraud NNPC. And some of these activities are related with fighting corruption. It takes, if you see the amount of money involved, then if you don't have people who are determined to fight corruption, the chances are compromised to $1.6 billion. We've had cases, for example, NNPC versus IPCO, where they're demanding over $400 million. And because of the activities, we're able to settle out of court with them for $37.5 million, which It's a saving of over of several percentages.
He disclosed that through his management's determination to fight corruption, NNPC paid only $37.5 million out of the $400 million initially demanded by the International Petroleum Corporation, IPCO, in litigation, amounting to 91.5% savings, adding that it was a sheer act of courage for the NNPC team to follow through with the cases without compromise, considering the humongous amount involved.
So this institute's intention is quite laudable, and conferment of fellowship of me will make me more determined to support the activities. And being a patron, now I'm right into the brain of the institute to be able to give them some of the knowledge that I have, some of the trainings I've received. It has been a certified fraud examiner.
He applauded President Muhammadu Buhari for the support extended to the NNPC to ensure sanity in the system, emphasizing that the anti-corruption stance of the federal government had added a lot of value to the nation's hydrocarbon operations. High point of the event was the conferment and presentation of a plaque and anti-corruption books to Dr. Baru as fellow and patron for the institute in recognition of his contributions to the anti-fraud crusade in Nigeria. A cross-section of stakeholders in the Nigerian oil and gas industry have applauded the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, for creating an enabling environment for oil and gas companies to flourish, which has gone a long way to bolster the nation's economy. Some of the stakeholders gave their commendations during the P10 panel session as part of activities to commemorate the just concluded Offshore Technology Conference, OTC, in Houston, Texas. Chairman of the Petroleum Technology Association of Nigeria, PETN, Bank Anthony Okorafo, praised the NNPC for the sustained tremendous support extended to the oil and gas companies doing business in Nigeria.
I also appreciate NNPC for always and consistently supporting PETN and making sure Nigerians will create many entrepreneurs as possible.
For the Chief Executive Officer, Seplat Petroleum Development Company, PLC, Austin Avuru, the NNPC has remained a responsible national oil company that has led by example.
At 850,000 barrels a day from the deep water, we're not even talking about quota, and that production accounts today for 45% of our total production, which is no higher than where we were before deep water came in.
The Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Oilserve Limited, an indigenous oil and gas company, Engineer Emeka Okwosa, said the Nigeria State Oil Firm has opened up the space for robust participation by oil and gas companies in Nigeria.
Without NNPC, it would have been impossible for Nigeria to have even commenced this participation in the first place and driven it to this level. And without NNPC support, we may not have envisaged this level of participation from time.
For us in Chevron, we continue to seek collaboration with stakeholders in the industry, especially our senior partners, the NNPC.
Over 50 oil and gas companies from Nigeria registered their indelible footprints at the Golden Anniversary edition of the Offshore Technology Conference this year.
We are better because we stand on the shoulders of giants. NNPC already is a giant, and I'm one that leads by example, and I'm proud to be standing on a platform which they made possible.
NNPC, we touch your lives in many positive ways.
The Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, has predicted that world demand for its oil would be higher than expected this year as supply growth from rivals, including U.S. shale producers, slows, pointing to a tighter market if the exporter group refrains from raising output. The organization in a monthly report said its output fell slightly in April as U.S. sanctions on Iran added to the impact of an OPEC-led supply cutting pact. Supply losses in OPEC members Iran and Venezuela, both under U.S. sanctions, have deepened the impact of the production limiting deal. The so-called OPEC Plus group of producers meets next month to review whether to maintain the pact beyond June. Vienna-based OPEC trimmed its estimate of oil supply growth from outside the group in 2019 and said the rapid rise in production of U.S. tight oil, another term for shale, was moderate. Supply growth is likely to be slower than last year amid the expected weaker global economic growth, OPEC said. U.S. tight oil production is increasingly faced with costly logistical constraints in terms of outtake capacity from land-locked production sites. OPEC, Russia, and other non-member producers are reducing output by 1.2 million barrels per day from January 1 for 6 months. The Nigerian Pipelines and Storage Company, NPSC, a subsidiary of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, has reviewed that most of the critical crude and petroleum products pipelines that were down have been resuscitated to ensure effective supply and distribution of petroleum products across the country. Managing Director of the NPSC, Mr. Luke Anele, made this submission during an interface with the media in his office in Abuja. Anele stated that the critical Port Harcourt to Aba and Enugu petroleum products pipelines that were vandalized at several points had been rehabilitated and the lines brought back to operations for effective penetration of petroleum products to the southeast.
2 years down the line, we've been able to restore a reasonable percentage of the pipeline, and we can also beat our chest today to say that we are pumping products through the major pipeline artery of the country, which is 2B. The 2B is the pipeline starting from Atlas Cove, ending up at Eloni, with T's to Ore and Satellite Depot.
He noted that efforts were in top gear to recover some of the vandalized portions of pipelines along the Ilorin axis, explaining that pipelines linking the Gombe Depot would also be rehabilitated for effective distribution of petroleum products to the northeast.
We have now planned to move product to Ilorin Depot, which is the terminus of the segment 2B. So with that, if that is achieved, which we hope to achieve within the next 1 week, or within the next 1 week or 2 weeks, we would have been able to recover fully that axis. So the product can be moved from Eloni to the northwestern part of the country. So thereby reducing the cost and the effect of moving product from Lagos all the way to the northwest.
On some of the challenges confronting the company, the MD has this to say.
I can also tell you that this challenge, most times we don't sleep. Whenever we are online pumping product or crude, because of the multifarious, attacks on the line, infringements on the line.
As part of measures to ensure that safety and security of its workforce and all other stakeholders that do business with her, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, has revamped and upgraded its access control to guarantee efficient security at the corporation's headquarters. General Manager, Security Department, Mr. Sam Otoboeze, stated this recently in Abuja. Mr. Otoboeze stated that with the inauguration of the access control at the towers completed, attention would now be shifted to all the other strategic business units, SBUs, for effective security of the entire installations of the NNPC.
So the next stage is to upgrade, to be where we should be, and then catch up with, technological development. That's the first stage. The next stage is seeing how we can cover the key other areas, SBUs, with the same technology, such that when you have the badge, when you get to any of the systems, you just go in.
He stated that through resilience and commitment with the support of the management, the security department under his watch has succeeded in placing a system that would enable them to be proactive and avert any security breach. The Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative (NAITI) said the amount of funds disbursed by the Federation Allocation Account Committee (FAC) in the first quarter of 2019 declined by 0.45% to 1.929 trillion naira from the 1.938 trillion naira disbursed for the same period in 2018. The Transparency Advocacy Agency has attributed the decline in shareable funds to the fall in the price of crude oil in the international market during the period, stressing that it affected government's earnings. According to the quarterly review publication of NAITI, the total FAC disbursement in the first quarter of 2019 ended the recent trend of over 2 trillion naira disbursements, which lasted for 3 consecutive quarters of the second quarter to the fourth quarter in 2018. A breakdown of the disbursements show that the federal government received 803.18 billion naira in the first quarter of this year. This was 1.18% lower than the 812.8 billion naira the federal government received in the same period in 2018 and 46.2% higher than the 549.1 billion naira disbursed in the corresponding quarters of 2017.
As a beneficiary of the funds that NNPC disbursed as part of this competition, I can definitely say that it has been a very positive contributor to my life. I think that I was able to afford university, I was able to pay for books because I was a part of this competition, and it inspired me to continue to work hard in my chosen endeavor.
NNPC, we touch your lives in many positive ways.
Hello viewers, welcome to the feedback segment of the program. My name is Julia Auta. This week, our roving camera visited some major cities in Nigeria to find out from the public how many liters make up a barrel of crude oil.
Estimately, I can say 600 liters.
They have some 3,000. They have some 2,500.
I think like 50 liters. Yeah, 50 liters.
41,000 liters.
I'm not sure, but I can say 10 or 15.
If it is according to the gas we are using in our vehicles, about 300 liters in a drum. But for that of gas or crude oil, I think if it is in a drum, to be in the same vicinity of 300 liters.
We may have below 45, 60.
Like 500 to 600.
I don't want to give a wrong estimate, so I don't know.
According to experts, 1 barrel of crude oil equals to 42 US gallons, or 35 UK imperial gallons, or approximately 159 liters of crude oil. And that's it on this segment. Please stay with us for more on the program. Hello, thank you for joining us on this informative segment. My name is Tola Bubuade. Did you know that the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, is a state oil corporation? The corporation was given powers and operational interest in refining and petrochemicals, product transportation, as well as marketing. Did you know that between 1978 and 1989, NNPC constructed refineries in Port Harcourt, Warri, and Kaduna? Similarly, in 1988, the NNPC was commercialized and grouped into 12 strategic business units. Did you also know that the NNPC operations covers exploration and production, gas development, refining, distribution, petrochemicals, engineering, and commercial investments. I'm sure you've been educated. Let's keep in touch next week. Please stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to Global Crude Oil Outlook. Oil prices pushed higher for a third day in a row as fears of supply disruptions amid heightened tensions in the Middle East overshadowed an unexpected rise in U.S. inventories. Brent crude futures were at $72.18 per barrel, up 41 cents or 0.6% from their last close, ending up at 0.7%. U.S. West Texas Intermediate WTI crude futures were at $62.40 per barrel, up 38 cents or 0.6% from their previous settlement. WTI closed up 0.4% in the last session. Analysts said oil was drawing support from the risk of conflict in the Middle East, with helicopters carrying U.S. staff from the American embassy in Baghdad Wednesday out of apparent concern about perceived threats from Iran. While a gain in U.S. inventories overnight is helping to cap prices, so too is uncertainty about whether OPEC and other producers will maintain into the second half of the year supply cuts that have boosted prices more than 30% so far in 2019. Supply losses from OPEC members Iran and Venezuela, now under U.S. sanctions, have deepened the impact of the OPEC-led production restrictions. The OPEC Plus group of producers, which includes Russia, meets next month to review whether to maintain the pact beyond June. U.S. crude inventories rose unexpectedly last week to their highest since September 2017, increasing by 5.4 million barrels and surprising analysts who had expected a decrease of 800,000 barrels, the Energy Information Administration, EIA, said. And that's it on this segment of the program. My name is Solomon Iopave.
I'm very impressed with the GMD in the way he's always conducted himself. He's aware of every other issue. For any area you mention, he's abreast. He reels out all the data. He knows his knowledge within the industry is phenomenal, and I would like to commend him and also to learn from him on how he's able to do that.
That's the package of issues, news, and events on this edition of Oil and Gas Forum. Thanks for stakeholdership, and thanks for being faithful to us. Let's do it again, same time, same station, next week. Bye.